What's up, everybody? Special edition of the Coast to Coast podcast here on InsideCarolina.com. I'm Joey Powell. Good to see, be seen, hear from you all. We're glad you're joining us here today. This is a special edition. We've got a new face, but we're going to talk about somebody that's also a new name, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We're brought to you by Johnny T-Shirt and JohnnyT-Shirt.com. Well, thanks for sticking around. We're glad you're here. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Tyler Haddad. Tyler is the founder and CEO of Triple Threat Hoops in Dover, New Jersey. And you're saying, Joey, who is this guy? Why is he important? Why are we talking to him? Well, Tyler has a unique relationship in that he's been the coach and personal trainer of one Elliot Cadeau, new point guard for the UNC Tar Heels. And Tyler has an extensive relationship with Elliot, both on and off the court. And we just thought it'd be fun to chop it up a little bit and talk about what Hubert Davis and the staff are getting in their new lead guard. So first things first, Tyler, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to getting to show the UNC people a little bit about Elliot, give them a little bit of background on his journey and how he wound up at UNC.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I feel 100% confident in saying the Inside Carolina community and UNC fans in general have just been just drooling over seeing Elliot's film, not only last year, but as he's gone into this year. I know this is a busy time of year for you specifically with all that you guys have going on, traveling around the country and playing. So appreciate you making time for us. First things first, tell me about the first time you met Elliot Cadeau.
Yeah, so so it was just by happenstance, kind of. I actually wound up. I run a little park league in the town that Elliot actually moved to for a year. His mother ran a tennis academy, and she got transferred to a new location to kind of help upbring their program a bit. And Elliot just randomly showed up at my park league, and I'm sitting there just being a supervisor or a spectator or whatever, and just making sure everything runs smoothly. And I'm watching this kid, little fifth grade kid, and I'm like, this kid is killing the rest of these kids. Like, this is crazy. And so I just I went up to him towards the end of the game, and I was going to approach him, and I'll never forget this. He ended the huddle. So there's no coaches in this league, so it's like everybody coaches themselves or whatever. And he wound up just basically being the captain and saying, all right, guys, like, we're up by a lot. Like, I'm just going to sit. Like, you guys can play the whole fourth quarter. And I heard him say that. So I went up to him and I was like, you sure you don't want to play? Like, you're doing really good. You have close to like 30 points. And he's like, no, like, we're going to win. And because they were up by 20 or 30 points at the time. And then I just sat there the whole fourth quarter and just started talking to this kid. And I'm like, oh, where are you from and whatnot? And I got to know him a little bit. And I said, oh, you just moved to, like, he just had moved to the town that we coached in. And I was like, oh, like, do you have a team? Like, do you play AAU? What's going on? And he basically said that he played for a program called Sports U that was down in Jersey City, and that he was kind of looking for something local. And so I went and talked to Michelle and kind of his mother, and got him on board with us just as training. It was a way for him to make some new friends and kind of get acclimated to the new school, new situation. And it kind of worked out perfectly. And then I wound up kind of being around since then.
I mean, Disney couldn't write something that's that much happenstance, really. So tell us a little bit. I want to kind of tell your story so that people can understand why that matters in shaping Elliot, right? So how did you get to the place where you started Triple Threat Hoops? Tell us a little bit about your background,
Sure.
your playing background, and then what I guess you would say your keen eye is for finding talent. How do you know that, okay, this is somebody I can work with? You can see a ton of players in the tri-state area that are good ball players, even in fifth grade, but you had to have some sort of eye that you kind of hang your hat on before you met Elliot, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think so. I was actually, it just so happens that I was kind of just getting the program off the ground. My real thing was, I really wasn't trying to run an AAU organization or anything like that. I had actually created the team for my youngest brother, Sam. He had a group of friends that wanted to play AAU, that were looking for kind of an opportunity to play outside the winter season. and everything was kind of far away or really expensive to participate. So I said, oh, I'll just coach it. Like I'll put the kids in a couple of tournaments and run some practices locally. We were at the park and we were at the school and whatnot. And it kind of just so happened that we had a little team, 7 kids. I had some open spots, and I wound up finding Elliot, who then came on, played the rest of our season with us, and the boys started doing great. And because we had like a pretty decent team, and then kind of just threw Elliot in the mix, and then it became like a really good team. And then he wound up actually recruiting. That's one thing about Elliot; he's the best recruiter that you'll ever meet. Like unbelievable. I wound up having some of the best kids that have come through New Jersey in the past 4 or 5 years, all come through just because I want to play with Elliot. So he was really great for our program at kind of just bringing on kids and sort of building a really, I guess, like a little super team. And we wound up winning a lot, and we kind of got recognition because our uniforms are pink. So we were the boys team wearing pink uniforms. So everybody was like, yo, what's up with this? Like, why are these boys teams wearing pink? And why are they winning by 30 points? And so we kind of got a lot of recognition due to that. And then really just the program started because people just started coming up to me and saying, hey, you're doing a really good job with the guys. You have a really good team. You guys are winning a lot. Like you just beat our son's team by a lot. And he played the way that you guys play, really unselfish basketball. And there's no like daddy ball essentially. Because a lot of teams either have the daddy ball or they have the coaches who know the dads, and kind of that happens a lot in AAU. Especially now, I feel like from then till now, it's gotten insane with the whole dad starting teams or cousins starting teams, and then just kind of catering to the one kid, and everybody else is kind of just out there running.
What was your basketball experience prior to starting Triple Threat?
So I played AAU in high school. We traveled around a decent amount. I didn't wind up pursuing it in college. I just decided to sort of get into coaching. I got my feet wet in that. I started coaching, just volunteering as a high school kid at our local church league. Mm-hmm. They wound up. I actually was in the gym. We had this gym down in the center of town. It was a school that the back door we always knew was unlocked, so we would just go in the school and work ourselves out. And they wound up having practice, and it was my former coach who was running the practice. So he's like, hey, like you guys don't have to sneak in here. You can just ask me. I'll get you guys in, no problem. And he just happened to ask me to stick around because his other assistants weren't able to make it that night. And he's like, can you help me run practice? So he's basically like, whatever you want to do, like just run the practice. And he came up to me at the end. He's like, this is the best practice we ever had. Can you guys come back every week? Like the kids are benefiting a lot from this. So this is me and one of my friends that were working out. We just basically ran the practice. And I wound up starting to go back every week. He was getting me the gym time before the practice so I could work myself out and my friend out. And then it kind of just spiraled into we wound up going undefeated that season. And then we continued on 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And then the kids went to high school, and I was kind of looking for something else. At that time, I had graduated high school and going into to college. And I was like, I like this. Like I want to stay involved. Like I've been kind of building this up. And that gave me a chance to kind of get it rolling with Triple Threat.
That organic desire to kind of pursue something is usually one of the best foundations for kind of long-term involvement with it. And it seems like you really stumbled upon something in working with these kids and helping to teach them basics and leadership and growing into being good players. So you've met a 5th grade Elliot Cadeau. You've already seen he's got talent. You've talked about how, he was being a great recruiter and building a super team. When did you realize that, holy cow, this kid's got a real future in this?
Yeah, I think I always knew that he was like significantly better, but it's crazy because people see the Elliot now, and like back then, like Elliot was totally different player. Like he was fast and he can dribble. That was his two attributes. Like he was the type of kid that like would only like wouldn't shoot like ever. Like I had to beg him to shoot. And it's amazing to me to see, like, I saw it back then, like when he was like passing up wide open shots from 8 feet away. to dish to his teammates, and us basically screaming at him like, "Yo, you got to shoot that! You're wide open, and you're like really one of the better players that we've ever had. Like you got to shoot the ball when they were wide open." And he just he kind of refused until about, I would say, 8th grade. He decided that he's going to start being an offensive threat. I think when we started traveling around the country with our program and Sports U, he really got to see like, yo, like I gotta shoot if I'm wide open because or else I'm gonna get subbed out.
When did you start seeing him really put it on some, or at least being able to compete with really high level competition? You know, some of these kids, you can see it as early as 8th or 9th grade. They're going against, you know, kids that are juniors and seniors, and they're kind of handing them some work. When did you finally see that, or when did you start to see that?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
not only is he on par with these guys, he's literally able to get his own.
Yeah, I would say the first time I saw that was I actually I had, so basically what would used to happen is I used to take Elliot in the morning about 8 o'clock. Michelle would drop him off to the gym, and he would basically stay the whole day at the gym with us, and kind of I would let him just play with whatever teams kind of needed a body at the time, because it was obviously a new program. We didn't have full squads at the moment, so we had like 8 guys on the team. So I was like, if somebody doesn't show up, you can play or whatever. And we had a game down in South Jersey, and I'll remember he wound up. Our team was just like kind of in one of those ruts where it's like, all right, it's early morning, they're not playing good, everybody's not really listening. So I said, you know what, like Elliot and his teammate Maurice Coleman, I said, Elliot and Mo, like put your shoes on, like you guys are playing. So they were 6th graders at the time, and it was a 16U game. And I was like, I was so frustrated with my team because we only had 5 guys at the time. So I was like, yo, like I gotta sub these kids out. They're not doing what I'm asking, and I'm not just gonna let them ride out the whole game like being lazy or whatever. So I put Elliot and Mo in, and I think Elliot wound up with like 12 points and a whole bunch of assists, and Maurice about the same, about 10 points. And they were playing hard, playing defense. Elliot was taking charges. That was his big thing back then. We used to pay $5 for charges, and I think I've paid Elliot about $700.
That's
um,
that's gonna really get a lot of Inside Carolina subscribers. It's gonna melt their hearts.
yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I remember Coach Quadell was our coach back at the Sports U team, and every game he would preach that at the beginning, and I'm looking at him like we're going to be broke by the time we finish this season if these guys keep taking charge. Well, especially Elliot, he was the one that was king of flops, we used to call him, and so he was taking 3-4 charges a game, and clearly it's working because it's translating to what he's doing now. He's getting a few charges a game at least.
So I think a lot of folks, specifically with, you know, his decision to reclass and come in with the class of 23, he's had a huge jump in his game in the last 12 to 18 months. What have you seen over that time period, and what specifically has jumped out to you as like, man, this is night and day improvement?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. I think I would say going to Link was the best decision that he could have ever made. Bill down there, Bill Armstrong, their coach, awesome coach. Light night and day between programs that I've been around and what he was doing. It was really basically a college that was playing in high school essentially. He had the talent to be on a college level. He had the coaching staff to be on a college level. They were doing film work. They were doing 6 a.m.s daily, basically. We had a really good weight trainer down there. I had the pleasure to go down and actually visit Link and be around those guys and see what they're doing. And I think his just being around kids that are all on his level really just like, he was like, oh shit, like I can't like just breeze through this anymore. Like I gotta really gear up and go hard. And that was, I mean, having the access to living on campus, having the facilities, like literally I could throw a rock and hit the facility from his dorm. So being able to go there, use the shooting machine, use the Vertimax, use whatever he needs. And Elliot's like the hardest working kid I know, so he'll be in there until 3 o'clock in the morning if you let him. So that's the kind of stuff where it's like that completely set him apart. And that's why he's killing right now, I feel.
What was the biggest thing that you noticed a difference in the Elliot that went to Link and the Elliot that came back from Link?
I would say definitely more mature as far as he's always been a really mature kid, but as far as just being able to do everything on his own, he's always kind of had Michelle in his corner, helping him a lot with a lot of his stuff. And I think like living on your own for any kid is kind of a really big jump when you're used to being at home, having your family around, having your friends around, having your trainers, mentors, coaches, whoever else constantly seeing you on a daily basis. It's like now you're kind of off with a random group of kids, for his case, in the middle of nowhere in Missouri, and kind of just all you have is basketball. So you're just completely locked in. Whereas like a lot of these other schools have distractions and an opportunity to some of these guys just go commute to their schools. So it's like they can go home and hang out with their friends and be caught up in all that. Whereas these guys at Link were just completely locked into basketball because there was really nothing else to do.
You mentioned earlier kind of an example of Elliots Mindset being a coach on the floor when he was in fifth grade. You've also shared that, he's an incredibly hard worker. Help us understand his mindset in the middle of a game, right? Like, so you say you guys are in a tough situation, or what's Elliott's go to? How does he bring his team along with him? What's his mentality? Just see if you can pull back the curtain a little bit for us on that.
Yeah, I think two things. One is he's not afraid to like go and correct someone, whether he knows them for years or has met them just today. He's not afraid to like go up and approach and say like, yo, like this is what you should do. Like, and he says it like the way he comes off as like a friend kind of. It's not like, yo, you got to do this or else whatever. It's
He's
like
not barking at his teammates.
yeah. It's very like it's like almost a coach talking to a kid. It's like, oh, like you gotta do this and this is why. And then when they understand why, then the kid does it and then he sees it work. And it's essentially the same as like a coach. And then the second one would be he communicates with his coaches like regularly during a game. Like a lot of point guards I've had kind of just like do their thing on the court and I'm kind of like yelling out from the sideline different things and they're kind of getting it on the fly. Like he's the type of kid that like somebody gets fouled, like he's helping them up and then running over to me and saying like, yo coach, like this is what happened. This is what we should do, blah, blah. What do you think? And then I'm saying, yeah, that's right. Or no, let's stay with what we're doing or whatever. And we kind of come to an agreement and then we keep playing. And those are the kind of things that like, just, I feel like excel him because like his communication is just next level.
We're talking with Tyler Haddad on the special edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I'm Joey Powell. Tyler is Elliot Cadeau's longtime trainer and coach from Dover, New Jersey. Tyler, the things I think that you're sharing about his coaching acumen and kind of his mentality as a motivator of his peers on the floor, how do you think that translates at UNC? I mean, I see a kid that's, he's in the right age group, right? He's coming in with a class of 23. That's his age anyway, but
right.
He's still a freshman coming into college. How do you think that translates to the college game?
I think it'll translate fine. I think that so he actually wound up playing up quite a bit. After those games where he did well, he was actually put on that team permanently because I felt like it was good for him as far as physicality. Just playing with the kids that are 6'8", 6'9", big bodies, learning to navigate that at an earlier age. I feel like that helped him a lot. And he also had the opportunity to kind of play on his age group and where he can get his shots off and pick where he gets to score and work on jump, like really a lot of jump shooting came a long way during that time because he was kind of had free reign on his age group. But I think that going to North Carolina, he's kind of used to playing up. I mean, even on his New York Lightning team, he was a 15U kid, essentially playing 17U. So you have to play 17U 3 years in a row. Obviously kept getting better as he went on. And I think it's not really going to be anything new. It's just basically like he's a 15U kid playing 17U again. And I think that he has more than enough capability to keep up and really excel, I believe.
How much of a chance have you had to see UNC's current roster? I know there's been a lot of influx, but what do you know about the personnel that's on the team, and then how do you anticipate that he'll mesh with those guys?
I've gotten to see it briefly. I spoke to one of the coaches. When he came to visit Elliot at one of his AAU games, so I got to speak to him there. I'm actually headed. I'm trying to make a trip down there here shortly. We're actually going down to Peach Jam
Oh
this
yeah.
coming week. So I'm flying into Charlotte, and I'm going to try to, if I can, sneak over to UNC if I have a bit of time at the tail end of that. But if not, I'll probably speak to the coaches and whatnot because I'm sure they'll be down. Hubert and them will be down at Peach Jam recruiting and whatnot. So I think I'll try to speak to them a little bit more about the roster and how he fits. And I haven't really gotten to have a chance with them to talk to them about that. But from what I've seen, I mean, I really like the way that things are going with that. I was a little bit disappointed that Simeon had decommitted. That's another kid that I'm pretty close with, and I was really looking forward to seeing him and Elliot play together. But I think he'll do big things at St. John's as well, and I think that the UNC group will still be in pretty good tact without him. So I think they'll hold their own.
I think one of the things people are excited about around North Carolina is that Elliot is coming in with a chance to play with an upperclassman like RJ Davis. You know, RJ is a little undersized to be a shooting guard, but he's also played a lot of point guard and a lot of shooting guard since he's been in Chapel Hill. I think a lot of folks are really excited to see how he and Elliot work together. What are your thoughts about how those two might be able to play off of each other? And do you see some value in having an older dog on the block when Elliot comes in?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think RJ's a New York City kid, so we
Yep.
know him pretty well, and no, I'm really excited to see them play together. I think that RJ kind of sliding to the two off the ball will kind of make his job a little bit easier, and obviously save a little bit of energy because him having to constantly get the ball up the floor and then initiate offense and then try to be the main scorer or one of the main scorers is obviously a lot to ask of a kid. So for Elliot to kind of help him get the ball over half court and set something up and then try to find him in his spots, I think that they'll work really well together. And I'm also looking forward to seeing him play with Armando. I think that Elliot's been kind of looking for a true big. He got to play quite a bit with Aaron Bradshaw. It's one of our sports U guys
Hmm.
who's now going to Kentucky. He got to play with him for a while, but now as having a true center, back to the basket kind of guy who can also face up, I think that Elliot will really set him up for a lot of success this season as well.
Tyler, what do you know of how the recruitment process was for Elliot with North Carolina? You mentioned, talking with some of the coaching staff. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation that goes on. We don't need to be privy to anything you don't want to share, but I think you've got a unique perspective in seeing how college coaches at an elite program approach, a player of Elliot's stature. A kid that was top 20 from when he got into the class, and even reclassing back to 23, he's still one of the top point guards or players at his position. What was your experience in his recruitment process with Coach Davis and those guys?
No, I think it was great. I think that they took a real liking to Elliot, and Elliot took a real liking to them. Obviously, he committed, so it went pretty well on Carolina's behalf. But I think that really, to be honest, all the coaches that kind of recruited, I think for the most part, they were all really, really about just like seeing Elliot's progression as a player, as a person, and trying to get him to the next level. I think that all of them kind of had that similar mentality. I think that North Carolina kind of just like, I think Hubert just meshed with him and Michelle just a little bit more than everyone else. And it kind of stuck out to them in talking to Elliot. I know he was kind of really battling. I mean, there's a lot of schools recruiting, and his phone was constantly active, and it was almost overwhelming for him at times. He was telling me that he's like, oh, just like always talking to coaches, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and is a little overwhelming. But I think that at the end of the day, he made a great decision. I made an Instagram post and just briefly told him that it was funny that I never really pushed the Carolina. I really never pushed any school on him, but it just so happens that Carolina had been my favorite school growing up, and so it was funny to see that it kind of came full circle. It was like, wow, I just went from loving this team for a lot of years to kind of it just falling together, and favorite player in high school is going to my favorite school.
Personally, you have to love it. Absolutely. So, when did you feel like reclassing back to the 23 class was right for him? Because again, you've seen this kid from when he was in fifth grade until now, and I don't mean to be dismissive calling him a kid. You've seen this young man when he was in fifth grade up until now. You've seen him grow as a person. You've seen him grow as a leader. You've seen him grow as a player. When did you feel like that 23 move back was a good fit for him and a good way to get him to the next phase of his career?
Definitely. I mean, I saw it earlier, but I definitely say after Geico. I mean, he just
Oh yeah.
he was killing it at Geico, and I basically said Michelle, like I said to Michelle, we had a long conversation. I said, Michelle, what else are you looking for in the high school level? Like, what can he benefit from? Like, he won Geico. He's been a part of all these camps, Pangos, and all that other stuff. And the only thing really that he's unfortunately not going to get to be a part of is the McDonald's All-American game, which I know he really wanted to do. But aside from that, I mean, to do another whole another year of high school. I mean, granted, the Link situation is awesome, and I think that he would benefit a lot from that. But to do a whole another year of high school when you could be out of college and playing against essentially grown men. Not to say that, I mean, the kids that they were playing against in high school were also grown men, but to be at college, it's just, I mean, it's a whole nother level. I mean, as far as facilities, equipment, training staff, travel, getting used to going around the country. And most importantly, I feel playing in front of 30,000 people each night. That's something that takes a little bit of time getting used to. So if you can get a year or two of that before moving on, I think that's really beneficial.
So have you talked to Elliot since he got on campus, and what's been his his vibe since he got up here?
I did briefly. He's been all over the place. He's been going to media things. He's been going to. I mean, they've had him busy from sunset till sunrise, or sunrise till sunset. Sorry. So he's been all day long just staying in the gym. I think he's been working out. I know he had a little injury with his foot, but I think that's fine now. I think he's back on the court already, and I think that he's really enjoying kind of the college life. I don't think he started classes just yet, so I'm sure that he'll get even more busy when that starts. But as far as I've heard, he's really liking it.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Last question for Tyler Haddad. He's the founder of Triple Threat Hoops and has been Elliot Cadeau's longtime coach and trainer. Tyler, what do you expect from Elliot in 2023? I know that's a big and kind of a loaded question, but Tar Heel fans are excited. Inside Carolina subscribers are excited. I think the way, as you mentioned, the way Elliot closed out his career at Geico and finished his AAU career, he definitely has a lot of the pundits expecting big things from him. What do you personally expect from him, both on and off the court this coming season?
Definitely expect more winning. That's first and foremost. I think that he's got to keep the train moving. As far as coming off Geico, got to get right back on the horse and keep it moving with Carolina. Try to push them in the right direction. Hopefully, I mean, ideally go far in the NCAA tournament. But I think overall, as a player and an individual, I think that leading the group and really stepping up and kind of being, even though he's the younger guy, he's got to take a leadership role, which I think he definitely will. And I think that his communication, like I said earlier, will kind of propel the group. And I mean, I have not met. I mean, I worked with a lot of the top kids in the state of New Jersey, and I haven't met a kid that doesn't like playing with Elliot. Like everyone, that's why he's such a good recruiter. Is everyone wants to play with him because he's super unselfish. He makes everybody's life a lot easier, and he just competes nonstop. You can be up 30 or down 30, and he's diving on the floor for the ball, jumping over the seats in the crowd, trying to save the ball from going out of bounds. The kid just puts everything on the line for every single game, and it could be a completely meaningless game, and he's going 100 miles an hour, diving on the floor. And that's the type of kid that, I mean, every coach loves, every fan loves, and I think that UNC's really got a good one.
We are really excited to follow him and track his time in Chapel Hill. We're excited that he's already on campus. I know seeing some of the comments from his new teammates, I think he's going to fit in just fine with this roster. But Tyler Haddad, we appreciate you making time for us here on the special edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. Shout out to Johnny T-Shirt for sponsoring. Shout out to John Siegley for producing this here podcast. If you are listening to us and have not yet subscribed to Inside Carolina, please take care of that. Make that happen. And if you'd like to, give us a rating and a review on whatever platform you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, also subscribe to the Inside Carolina channel. But until next time, this has been the Coast to Coast Podcast. For Tyler Haddad, I'm Joey Powell. We will talk at you sometime in the very near future.
Thanks for having me.